Today with this i7 930. This is an LJ 1366 CPU with 4 cores and 8 threads. We're gonna pair it up with this RTX 3050 from 2022. It's got 8 gig of GDDR6 at 128 bits bus width. Let's jump in those games and see how this i7 930 is handling those free-to-play games. Right, so first off, we need to jump into Dota and see how it's running on maximum settings here with 1080p. I think the GPU is going to help the CPU. It's kind of weird to see this computer running like this, but it does the job and it's kind of fantastic overall. Look at this. In the situation, you can actually see that the CPU is doing 40-50 FPS on average with 22 on minimals and 28 on 1%. Those are not good numbers, but it doesn't make any sense because the GPU and the CPU doesn't seem loaded, you know? So in this case, you can see that the VRAM, it's only using, what, 1.9 gig of VRAM from the 8 gig. The core is not loaded. The temperature is 45, 46, you know, with automated fan speed. But where's the problem? In this case, you can see from the system it's using 8.6 gig of system RAM. It's got 24 maximum. And the cores are like, what, 60% load on? Doesn't make any sense. In this case, you can actually see that even though the cores are not utilized, you can actually see some threads are reaching maximum. So that's where the CPU is struggling on the threads usage. If you're interested on an old CPU, today you have to understand that even if you got 4 cores and 8 threads, those 8 threads will end up being at maximum in some cases, and it will drag the whole thing down. Oh, the fight is coming. Look at that, 50 FPS. Nope, the threads are still the same. Do something. Ah, no, you should put it on this, on a chilling touch on automated. Made invisibility and 4 stop Aghanim and minus 30 damage. What the? Dota is working, but this is the maximum FPS that you can get, you know? 51 FPS on average with this i7 930. Let's see how Counter-Strike is working with performance. Everything is on low shader, high. The game apparently adjusted 4x MSA, high shaders, disable ambient, everything is on performance. You know what? Let's run with it like this, 1080p full screen. You know what, I've changed my mind, I have to put everything on low here. 50, 60 FPS, but apparently the numbers are the same, you know, 21 FPS. So I think instead of actually seeing the GPU, apparently you can actually see that 2.5 gig of VRAM it's used here. Only 45% load on the GPU. So the GPU, it's used a little, you know, but considering it's a 3050, I think it's not very stressed. I think I have to lower the resolution. Let's try and lower the resolution. Maybe the resolution is the problem. Let's put 720p. So you're telling me this one is using, yep, the threads are maxed out. That's the one. See a couple of threads are keep reaching it, the maximum usage. There is a difference in the performance, but not that much. You can still see that the threads are being utilized. Apparently 40-50 FPS with the CPU, it's something normal. The GPU apparently doesn't work, doesn't help us in this situation. So now take video card with this i7 930. You can't justify this video card, you know. So overall, if you can, but if you're okay with 40-50 FPS, that's the best number you can get. In this situation, the system RAM is good, 7.6 gig of system RAM used. The core are not fully utilized. You can actually see that the core itself, it's not. But the threads, on the other hand, there's a lot of them that are utilized at maximum. And I think that's the only reason why we're lagging in this situation. Let's try Apex Legends and see how the game is rocking with this i7 930. I'm on 1080p with low details. 45 FPS. I mean, it's the same, seriously. 40 and 50 FPS is the new thing. Seriously, look at this. 90 FPS on average. 2 gig of VRAM used only from this 3050 with 60% load on the core. I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of good performance overall, and I think it's kind of awesome to see this performance. I'm not gonna lie, it's doing a fantastic job, the CPU. You can actually see the cores are utilized at maximum, so there's no complaining about this. Overall, the performance is good, you know, it's holding with 60-70 degrees on the CPU. The original fan from the Z400. Really nice, really nice. So Apex, It's kind of cool. 90 FPS on average, 41 on minimals, and 65 on 1%. The system RAM, it's using only 8 gig of system RAM. That is good. The CPU is maxed out in the threads, but should be expected because this is, this is it. 2.1 gig of VRAM, 70-80% load on the GPU. It's not being utilized. Let's see how it's rocking with 100% render scale. Very low DirectX 11. Leave me alone. I knew it was like I was just a target for them. If I want to play PUBG, I think I have to touch that render scale. Let's see if I put it on advanced, put it to 70% or something. Look at that performance. All the threads and all the cores, they are maxed out. I mean, the CPU is barely holding, you know. The PC itself is not bad, you know, but this CPU needs a little more overclocking. I think if it was on not 3 gig, you know, like 4 gig or something, that another that shoots at the core. I'm actually surprised it's still working. For how old is this CPU and how cheap it is to get it, I think this is an achievement overall. Yeah, the GPU has no problem. Hey, look at that, 3.1 gig, 40% load. I like this this idea of this i7 900 series. Seriously, we need to go in Team Fortress 2 and see how it's going with this system, because in advance we got low details. Want to see if the CPU is bottlenecking. This game is very easy on the system. It's DirectX 9, so hopefully we get no problems here. I like this performance that I have here. Seriously, feels like I've got VSync, but it's not VSync. 70 FPS in some occasions. Look at that. 0.8 gig of VRAM. This RTX has no problem on delivering the performance. I mean, it's only utilizing the core on the GPU. You can actually see it's got like 40% load on the core, but it's doing okay, you know. Okay, let's see how the CPU is doing. Do I have any threads maxing out? Apparently the core, a couple of threads are reaching, but it's not maxed out. 6.4 gig of system RAM use. I mean, the system is okay, you know, there's no problem with it. And I think overall performance is good in this. 50 minimals and 26 1%. I mean, come on. Even in Team Fortress, the CPU is... There's a couple of threads that are reaching maximum, but that's it. But I guess that's the reason it's only 60-70 FPS. War Thunder needs to have some presets here, and that allows us to put performance in DLSS. This is the first game that it's free to play and has DLSS options here. So I'm on medium details. I'll put as a quality, medium quality with NVIDIA DLSS. 100 FPS, 3.6 gig of VRAM utilized with DLSS on performance. I mean, the GPU is doing its job. This is gonna be interesting. Seeing the system using 6.1 gig of system RAM. Kinda good, not bad. The CPU, it's around 60% loaded. I like this performance. Let's go look and see how the CPU is holding. Oh yeah, look at the threads. Look at it. They're all maxed out. So in there, I got like 70 FPS on average, 60-70, 21 on minimals, and 46 on 1%. I like the system, how it's working here. Only 6 gig of system RAM is using. So this is a fantastic option. Let's see how Unturned is working with this system. Maximum draw distance, nearby. This is maximum details. This is my FPS, 40-50 FPS. Oh my god, it lags here. Seriously. Look at this. 46 FPS, 50 FPS on average, 25 on minimal, 32 on 1%. I mean, it's good, you know. The GPU is not utilized. The system RAM, it's 8.4 gig of system RAM. I got like 60% load on the system with the CPU. And if I take a look on the CPU details, you can actually see the threads are reaching maximum. Hence why I got like 40-50 FPS. The CPU is lagging, you know. This is the amount of FPS I can get with this system and this CPU. It's something that I will really like to upgrade in the future, because I want to see how it's running with this GPU, other CPUs, because I will keep this GPU in the system and hopefully I get better performance. If you want, make sure you smash that like button and we'll bring more CPUs. Video 1080p, maximum details with this. Ooh, prioritize quality, performance. What happens if auto settings? It's on high details, apparently. To put myself in that situation so I can see if this system is holding, and it's holding with 60 FPS. I think there is a VSync here. 40% load on the CPU, 12 gig of system RAM utilized, and 60-70% on the CPU load. It's not bad, it's not good at the same time, but you can actually see that's very steady. Let's take a look on the CPU side and see how it's working. Everything is maxed out. The core threads, everything is just max.
Got a feeling.
Yeah, it's good. It's good overall how the system is working. I like how the game is performing with this video card and the CPU. Another one came in and spawned. Wow. Bang. Right, let's see how Destiny is working with this system. Look at it. Maximum FPS, field of view, VSync off, custom. Let's put it as a preset to highest. What do you think? It's working? Kind of weird to see this performance, but the CPU is on 50-60%. I mean, I know the threads how they are performing, but in this game you can actually see it's doing something interesting. It's working with this. Looks good, you know, even on maximum details, it's using the core on the video card. The VRAM, not too much, 26% of the VRAM, yeah? And the system RAM, 36%. I mean, that's okay. 8.7 gig of system RAM, you know? It doesn't show the FPS, but I'm 100% sure this is the right one, you know? So, actually been 10 games, top 10 free-to-play games from Steam, but the last one was Warframe, and apparently I have to wait 24 hours until I can log in back in the game. Regardless, I understand how the CPU is working. I understand how this GPU is working with the CPU, and I really like the performance overall. I like how this i7 930 is working with this RTX 3050, and it shows me that if I select the right games, I can actually have a chance on playing online games every single day, because there's a lot of them that actually works really nice. I was surprised a lot about a lot of games, and the only thing I'm curious is what do you think about this performance that this i7 930 has given to this top games from Steam, free to play, of course. So from my point of view, I like it. I like this idea of old hardware still running in 2023 with free-to-play games, because it's very important not to put money in that library if the computer doesn't work. So with this idea of cheap components running free-to-play games, I think it's a good choice. Yes, so I like it. What do you think?